My replay viewers, I don't even know if you can hear me or not, but I'm sitting here in my little thinking place in the woods, and well, I'm sure you can hear that. They've just suddenly started cutting stone, I think it is. So I'm going to step out. They actually just stopped, and I thought, oh, that's a shame, because I was going to start my little live by saying I'm glad, but I'm walking away from that right now. Oh, there you go, they stopped now. So, there you go. But I'm sure they'll start up again in a minute. Anyway, hello everybody. How are you doing this morning? I was actually just sitting there thinking to myself, I don't think I'm going to do a live today after all. Even though I had a couple of things I was going to talk about today based on yesterday's little live. I have a viewer. Yay. 2 viewers. Yay. Hello people. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about I'm obviously going to cross the road. Emily, Robert, David. Sorry, Dave, not David. So yeah, so we were talking yesterday about I was going to talk about yesterday is about how ups and downs of life, basically. So I always talk about how we sometimes have a really good day, and then sometimes we have a bad day, and then we have a good day, and then we have a bad day. I can't really do it. So life is like this. And if you've ever seen a heart monitor in the hospital, of course it goes up and down, doesn't it? Beep, 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 beep. And when people die, sadly, had a lot of that recently, what do you get? You get a flat line. Beep. You don't get all those ups and downs. So life is all about those little ups and downs, as you can probably imagine. And sometimes though, those downs can just keep going down. And that's what we talked about yesterday, was about getting hit and then getting hit again and then getting hit again and then sliding down the slope to the bottom of the hill and then struggling to find your way back up again. And that's when we talked about antidepressants maybe helping you to get to back up to the stable level, so that you can enjoy your ups and downs of life again. But I want to talk today briefly about how to raise. We have this sort of average level of happiness in our lives, any one particular life. A good day and a bad day and a good day and a bad day. And it kind of averages out at this sort of level here. And something Tony Robbins once taught me was, how about if you thought, if this was your average day right now, how would it be if your average day was up here instead? And that in the future, a bad day was better than what's currently a good day for you. How cool would that be? Yeah, so that's kind of where I got to. And of course, if you're right down here somewhere. Hi Stephen, how you doing? How's your podcast going? If you're kind of down here, as you are when you're struggling with depression, getting up to a point where sort of normal day for most people is up here, and it makes complete sense. But of course, you can also raise that level again as well. And so the things that I teach people with my 15 pillars, I haven't got enough hands. 15 pillars. Morning. Neighbours. It's interesting actually, in these unprecedented times we have a WhatsApp group for our little neighbourhood now, and so everybody knows each other far better than we ever did before the WhatsApp group existed. Isn't that cool? A lot of good things coming out of this, even though there are a lot of bad things too, obviously. But I'm sure that the world in general will come out in, I'm not sure if you heard that. Have you finished the Better Life Challenge for today? I'm actually doing a 30-day challenge with Dean Graziosi, and yeah, well, we do a tiny little tasks every day. And today's day was day 14 for me, but you can start on day 1 anytime you like. So I think it's just betterlife.com if you want to go and do that. So that's kind of cool. What was I talking about? Raising your life. So use the 15 pillars to raise your average level of happiness. So, and that's what we were talking about yesterday, is that listening to the right music, hanging around to the right people, learning the right stuff, getting out into nature, doing exercise, eating the right foods, all these kind of little things that can bump up our lives. And I talk about it. So rather than being 15 pillars, as people talk, I used to talk about, 15 steps rather, I now talk about 15 pillars. So it's kind of like underlying your average level of happiness and helping you to bump it up over time. A little bit like a graphic equalizer, if you remember those from a few years back, where you kind of adjust little bits of it depending on what's good for you. And the idea is that if you are struggling with depression or something like that, then there are parts of your life that you things that you can really enjoy and some things that you don't really enjoy. So for example, when I talk to people about, we talked about this yesterday, about doing something that makes you feel good. I see Nikki's on here, I don't know if she's still watching, but I used to do ballroom dancing and I haven't done it for a while, but that's one of those things that kind of ticks up and ticks the socialising, music and exercise all in one go. Kind of aerobics would do that. Going to choir, I just heard somebody yesterday saying, oh, choir is amazing and singing really helps me and it's really helped my mental health. Not something that I would particularly enjoy, I don't think, but I know people who do, and that gets into your community, who you're hanging around with, music, doing something that makes you feel good, of course, that kind of stuff. So, and some people just said getting away from the children is something that makes them happy. So, going to do some meditation, getting out into the woods, for example, would be a good thing for them. And every single person has these things that are different for each individual person. So that's hence the 15 pillars, is that you can choose just to do more of them to try and help you to raise them, like again, legs on a chair, that kind of thing. If you only have one leg. Hi Nikki, yes, good to see you too, and Bose and Sam and all the other people who are on here. Hello to everybody as you're coming on. Yeah, if you've got a chair with only one leg, it's kind of unstable. 2 legs, still unstable. Put 3 legs on it and starts becoming a bit more stable. Of course, if you put 15 legs on a chair, it's not going to fall over. And if one of those little things gets knocked over, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference to you. So anyway, so that's kind of carrying on from yesterday, is to raise that sort of average level of happiness by improving and doing your daily little habits that can just improve your life on a consistent basis over time. And I just started helping somebody again this morning, who I've helped before, but she slipped down again since the lockdown comes back on again. And so I'm helping her again, and I'm now talking to her about how she's had 50 years of her life to be programmed, her brain to be programmed the way it is at the moment, and that's all by accident. And what we're trying to do now is trying to get her to rewire the brain, change the way she thinks about things and how she focuses on life. But it's going to take time, because rewiring those neurons that have been built up in your head for 50 odd years is not going to be an overnight fix. But it is, because you're doing it deliberately now, it can be a lot faster than the sort of accidental programming you've had throughout your life up until this point. So last night we were talking about just checking into, and this is a good exercise for everybody. This is the sort of basic level gratitude exercise, I would say, although I don't actually call it, I don't actually look at gratitude. I say, just before you go to bed at night, write down 3 things that made you happy, or 3 things that made you happy or made you smile during the day, and 3 things that you achieved during the day. And they can be ridiculously small things if you want to. That's absolutely fine. It could just be you saw a nice flower. There's some pretty buttercups, I think they're on the ground. So let me smile. There's actually some really cool bushes around the corner here, and I walk past them every day, and they smell amazing. There's 2 bushes, they both smell amazing. I just go over and smell the fragrance, and it's just beautiful every morning. Hey Tony, how you doing? I haven't seen you for ages. We still need to catch up, don't we? God, how long has it been? 10, 15, 20 odd years? I went to that Japanese restaurant we used to go to in London a little while back, and I thought, I can't believe this is still here. And I had a chat to them. I said, how long have you been open for? And they said, 20, 30 odd years or something, and they're still there. Amazing. Just off Leicester Square, that was. So just really simple, basic little things in your life that made you smile. It could be just something you saw on TV. My mum was talking about Mr. Motivator on TV the other day, and how that kind of really worked to her, in comparing Mr. Motivator with Joe Wicks, for example. And Joe Wicks is like way too much, not my mum's style at all, but Mr. Motivator really is. And then I saw my friend Charlotte on Instagram, who was saying, I didn't want to do the Joe Wicks workout today, so I checked on the BBC and there was Mr. Motivator, and I thought, how funny that my mum and this friend I know in London have both talked about Mr. Motivator on exactly the same day. Just a weird coincidence, so it made me smile. And so that would have been one of my 3 things that made me smile today. And then 3 things that you've achieved. Now, it could be as little as getting out of bed, having a shower and getting dressed. That's 3 things that are pretty cool for a day. So whatever it is that you've achieved during the day, so you write them down just before you go to bed, and then once you've written them down, you then reread them, and you try to relive in your mind the moment when those things happened. So you get the feelings inside you, you remember what happened, you just like relive them like really vividly, as vividly as you possibly can in your mind, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up the next morning, and you reread the list again, and you relive those moments again. And what you're doing with that process is you're reprogramming your brain. So if you ever watched the movie Inside Out, if you haven't, go watch it, it's fantastic. If you've got Disney Plus, it's on Disney Plus. If not, sorry, can't help you. But in there's a moment which is, it's kind of subtle, so you could miss it quite easily if you're not paying attention, or you're not looking for it, I suppose. But as a neuropsychologist, which is kind of what I am, even though I'm not officially, it was really interesting to watch it. I missed it the first time round when I watched the movie the first time round, but the second time round I definitely did. There's a moment when they go downstairs and they're in the memory bank room, and there are these two kind of like worker guys, warehouse guys, I guess you could call them, who are going along all the shelves, and they're taking out old memories, and they're putting them in a thing, and then they chuck them over the cliff into this big pit of old memories, dead memories, as it were. And they pick one out, and it's the little girl. Can't remember her name actually now. Can't remember her name. And it was something about chewing gum or something like that. Some really silly memory, really. And Joy, who's the main lead character in the film, says, no, you can't lose that. That was amazing, Phil. That was amazing memory. That's a brilliant thing. And so they put it back on the shelf, and they say, okay, that's a memory she wants to remember. And that's what you're doing every night, is you're focusing on the memories that you want to remember, because your brain overnight sifts through all those neural networks and everything that's happened to you during the day and goes, we don't need that anymore. We need to make some space, and we're going to get rid of those other things, and we're going to add these other things in. Not add these things, fix these memories in place. And of course, when you go to bed and you're thinking about all the good stuff that's happening in your life, what you're doing is effectively telling your memory that these are really important memories. You're reminding your internal system that these are really important things. These are good things to listen to remember, and to store. Rather than what most people do when they go to bed is they think about all the things that went wrong and all the things that went bad. And that's why a lot of people struggle to sleep at night as well, because they're going over, they're ruminating all these negativities about their lives. But if you can focus on the good stuff instead of the bad stuff when you go to bed, then you're effectively helping your mind to program itself to think about only the good stuff. And then when you get up the next morning, it's the same sort of thing. You're looking at all the good things that happened yesterday, so you're starting off your day with positivity. I listened to, actually I've got a page on my website, johnvdenley.com/morning, if you want to go to it, and there's actually a list of positive things you can do in the morning to improve your morning routines. And there's also a video at the top of there from Evan Carmichael, and he does a daily video, although weirdly today wasn't one. Hi Brendan again, and hello Martina, by the way, you popped on earlier. And today's video, they mentioned in there about, I can't remember who it was. Oh, it's Ed Milet, who says if he wants to control or manage the last 30 minutes of his day and the first 30 minutes of his day. And that's exactly what I was just going through there, is you're basically helping your mind to focus on the things that are good in the last thing at night and first thing in the morning. And you're setting your day off in a positive way. You're controlling your own life in the morning. You're not getting up in the morning and going, oh, today's going to be miserable, or oh my god, something else has happened, or there's, whatever, some negativity. And no, don't do that. Start off with positivity. Start off with your choices. You choose how your day wants to be, and so that's obviously really cool if you can do that kind of thing. I was going particularly with a point there, and I can't remember what it was now. Never mind. These are little ramblings. And as you know, if you watch the beginning of this, I was over in my normal place there, and they were cutting bricks near where I was sitting. So I thought, you know what, I'm not going to bother doing a live today. And then I thought, no, why not? I have something I want to say. And actually, on that other point, is I also listened to a podcast this morning from a guy called Rob Moore. He has two podcasts, one called Money and one called Disruptive Entrepreneur. They're both really good. But I'm not sure if today's, but this week's anyway, on money, is about how to get your children to have a good money mindset. Really worth listening to. Absolutely fantastic content. And one of the things he said in there, which is quite cool, is rather than paying your children for doing chores around the house, you can pay them to do a book summary on personal development books of some kind. So getting them into reading and so forth, and getting to sort of like earn their money for real stuff. Which is really cool idea. Now obviously some people will rail against that, but listen to the podcast because he's got some good points on all that sort of stuff, but it's just a little tip. And the other thing I forgot to say as well a couple of days ago was I watched to another little podcast And it wasn't a podcast, it was on Blinkist.com. If you're not on Blinkist.com, get on Blinkist.com. Amazing. 15-minute books in 15 minutes. This morning's was all about 15 laws of growth from John C. Maxwell, good quality leader in personal development. Got another good book. So, but a couple of days ago there was this. They were talking about how when a child is screaming and yelling, what you don't want to do is you don't want to make things worse and add to that antagonism and that negativity. What you really want to do is you want to soothe them. Okay, don't know what happened there. I think it was internal space. Anyway, I better hang up because something's going on my phone. It might, don't know what it's going to do, but anyway. Hope everything's well. Best not to antagonise. And it works for everybody, not just children as well. If somebody's shouting at you, your best way of dealing with it is to de-escalate rather than add to the escalation. Is to calm, measured responses and say, hey, okay, what's upsetting you? What's going on here? In a calm, cool, and that'll take that escalation. Rather than escalating it, it'll de-escalate it. We can talk more about that actually. What's the crying thing for? Somebody did me a crying thing. Maybe it was a mistake. Oh, maybe it's because I'm going. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, just de-escalate anyway those arguments rather than to escalate the arguments. Maybe that's something we'll talk about in a later live. But I'm done for today. Hope you're having a lovely Friday and you have an amazing weekend. No idea if I'm going to be live tomorrow. I'm not putting any pressure on myself. And we'll see how I feel tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. Thanks for watching, and take care of yourselves. Have an amazing weekend. Don't go, keep going. Stephen, I've done 2 more this week. I'm going to put them up onto YouTube. Oh, by the way, if you want to go to YouTube, youtube.com/John V. Denley, if you want to go to my YouTube. I have a podcast as well. I'm not sure if I've got that link on John V. Denley. It probably is johnvdenley.com/podcast, but definitely findyourfire.co.uk/podcast. I know Stephen listened to that podcast for a while. I haven't done any for a while though, so I need to do a few more of those. But yeah, I'm going to stick all these videos up on YouTube. So yeah, go watch them there if you want to rewatch them, or you can search through my personal feed as well. Thanks though, Stephen. Kind of run out of ideas for now, but I'll probably have another idea tomorrow, so we'll see. Take care. Bye for now.